We play and call it work.
Hey there, MiniWarGamers. Quirk here from MiniWarGaming.com, and I'm actually at Behaviour Interactive in Montreal. And I'm here with two of the lead designers of the new Eternal Crusade coming out. And basically, I'm here to ask you guys a couple questions and just learn a little bit more about what's going on with the game. Start the ball rolling here. Can I get you guys to introduce yourselves?
So I'm Nathan. That should be enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the senior producer of the Eternal Crusade, and
I'm Brent Ellison. I'm the lead designer.
Yes. Fantastic.
And I'm Nathan.
Don't forget.
This is Nathan. All right, so I have
That was it, right?
That was it. Yes.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
So I have a couple questions that I want to ask you guys.
Okay.
Things that have been kind of teetering around at the office and things like that.
Yeah.
First off, one of the main questions here is, what was the hardest thing of converting a tabletop game and lore to a digital format?
We didn't.
Okay.
Well, no. So, what I get the main emphasis, of course, that we have when doing it is, be true to the lore.
Yep.
Right. That is, I'm not going to say the easiest part, but I mean the lore is so vast and there's so many things that we can almost take off the shelf and use. That wasn't the most difficult part. The question became, okay, where do we put ourselves in this huge universe, and why are we fighting there, and what's happening there? In terms of making and taking maybe the tabletop rules of the game and stuff like that, we aren't very much in that area. Yes, of course. A plasma cannon is a plasma cannon, sure. But I mean, in terms of further rules than that, yes, we have special abilities, so on and so forth. But it's more that we take certain elements and flavors, like tacticals. Yeah. Tacticals are the one that capture objectives, and when you actually start getting and making your own personalized loadouts with weapons and everything like that, you actually have a point system, like you would be building an army. So it's more inspiration than we're taking from the tabletop game rules, I'd say.
Sure. The tabletop is basically an interpretation of the universe, and our game is another interpretation of the universe. So we're not descending from the tabletop in that regard. We're both coming from the same source. But we love the tabletop, and so we take things from there all the time.
Yeah, in case you had noticed, there's some tabletop stuff around.
A few things here and there.
Yeah, a few things.
I can say specifically, if you want to get really nitty-gritty, probably the hardest thing from the tabletop is having a violent, shooty, system that's a war game that also has deep melee, and trying to put that into one spot has been one of our biggest challenges.
That's a great point. Yeah, we iterate on so many of the systems, right? And I think this is the seventh or eighth iteration of the melee system. Yep. We've taken inspiration from a lot of other games that have melee, because you'd be surprised that there are not a lot of games that actually have melee and shooting together.
Not deep melee.
Yeah, deep melee. Well, yeah, sure. Slash or
back
shoot.
Shot, one off.
Yeah. Simply because we can use the term time to kill, I guess, but it's more like if you have a massive duel between two persons for 2 minutes, neither are going to survive, because two people are going to walk past and just shoot them in the head, right?
Yeah.
So you have to balance that too, and that's still a challenge. And we're still
absolutely.
But that's why we have all our founders in there, and they're testing it out with us. And when you have tens of thousands with us working on it and screaming at us when we get it wrong, and screaming at us when we get it right, and screaming at us if we don't do anything, and screaming at us if we do at it. So it's
we love you guys.
Yeah, we love you guys.
Yeah.
If we didn't, maybe we should have added to the intro, we're all masochists.
That's why.
It's totally why.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's kind of the angle there. Yeah, it's the melee system is currently our biggest challenge, and fitting that into the combat, because melee is a huge part of the universe and lore. Yeah.
So, okay, fantastic. The next question I had was basically, how many of the people who are currently working on this project were fans of the tabletop game and the lore prior to starting this project? And are there anybody who started picking up the game because of this?
Yes and yes. Yeah. Well, You would know better, but you've been here longer. I mean, I can probably generalize. I do it a lot. Hi, I'm Nathan. Yes. I mean, there's a core of the people that have been on the project, and also some of them that have left. They were most certainly hardcore 40K fans, and still are.
The design team right now is mostly people who have played it before.
Yes, and I dabble in it too. This is just the newest stuff that I'm assembling right over there, so I'm quite. Yeah. But I actually started mostly in the fiction. I think I read like almost up to 100 books right now from. Well, it's actually not that difficult. I mean, if you read Gaunt's Ghost series and you read the Horus Heresy, you're already up to like 30, 30, almost 40 books, right? And then you take a couple of omnibuses of the different Space Marine chapters and stuff. It's pretty fast to come. But I've always also been into like modeling and miniatures, and I mean 40K was the reason that I came here, right? How many picked it up afterwards?
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, pretty early on we had a shipment that was like maybe 20 boxes about this big each of just miniatures, and so we've had everything we need in order to like get people into the game.
Yeah.
So a bunch of people have been getting up.
And I'm looking at probably 300 books right now.
Yeah, you guys can't see it, but right next to the camera is a bookshelf, and it's got all the codexes, and then we got even more codexes and older codexes, and then it's just
white dwarfs.
White dwarfs.
White dwarfs.
Yes.
Early
yes.
90s and late
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah. And this is not our model room. That's another room.
The bookshelf is buckling a little.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I wouldn't say every single person is a 40K player, for example.
Yeah.
However, if you like you've seen walking through the office, is that we all have like models in various stages on our tables. Some are better painters than others.
So if you saw a random edit, I didn't tell them something that they shouldn't do.
Yes.
So.
Okay. Sorry, it was my fault. No, that you know, when we see great models, we are of course encouraged to paint the same, or go home crying and realize that I'll never reach that level of painting. But the model part.
Very talented.
Yes.
I saw a couple of models you have here. I'm not sure who did them, but there was a Space Wolf.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan, one of
Yeah.
our artists.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah.
Matthew and JF are also awesome on
Yeah.
the management team.
And so I'd say that 40K players, probably half. People that have 40K models, pretty much everybody.
Okay.
You know, it's some take a box and put a set and they have it on the table and stuff like that. Others take multiple armies and do that. So yeah.
Okay. So you've been running the closed alpha for a little while now.
Yeah.
And getting tons and tons of feedback from the community. What are some major changes that have been because of the community basically giving their feedback?
Oh yeah, well, so this is a great question because I was asked the same thing the other day. Yeah. I mean, so first of all, we have the forums, just the forums themselves. The closed alpha forums were reaching, I think, 25,000 posts, right?
Wow.
Of feedback, and then we also do surveys, and then of course we've been patching more or less every week. Sometimes we've been missing out, and it's like 10 days between because we haven't gotten to the level of quality that we wanted to get to. But I mean, I'd say a lot of the balancing.
Yeah, I mean, like for sure, like any changes you see are a result of us playing with people. Like basically, that's huge difference. Being able to go online 24/7, get a full match like that is fantastic for us as multiplayer designers. But we also like going through the forums, get lots of feedback on things like the melee system and little things like how the lock-ons should work and the las cannon, those sorts of things. Like going and interacting with the community, we get lots and lots and lots of threads on either suggestions or problems. One of the things we often try to focus on is like, what exactly is wrong? Tell us what is wrong. And if we can get the community to tell us what is wrong at any given moment, then that helps us sort of laser focus the design on the major issues.
Yeah, and I mean, forum is one thing. We have focus groups.
Yeah.
We also have like formal surveys of those that they're playing. So we poll them. But I mean, I'd say, well, I mean, we've done more than, like, if you look at code and everything, there's more than 1,000 changes just over the last month that we've done, right? Balancing changes are highly affected by player feedback. We've even changed the functionality of some weapons, but I think it's also quite amazing that this isn't just about involving the founders in the development process and being part of the feedback. It's also getting validations of, like, I mean, we have a direction and we have a design, and getting validation and also a lot of the feedback is actually, you know, when it comes, it's like, it's also the same thing that we're thinking. So when we're thinking about changing direction, even that the feedback matches, that's just, you know, that's kind of what we're looking for. But also, like he says, being able to jump in, like patch, jump in, and you're really playing with other players rather than us, like, you know, like internally, because if we're always playing internally against each other, we kind of get blind on things, and it's, what do you call it, monoculture or something like that?
It's an echo chamber.
An internal meta, basically.
Yes,
Kind of plays a certain way.
and then suddenly we start playing in alpha and get crushed. It's like,
for sure.
why didn't somebody think of that?
I guess thinking of like a specific thing, for example, would be the sprint strafing. Like early on, while sprinting, you could only turn, and enough people were like, no, that we changed it to a strafing system. Those sorts of things.
Yes. So it's you know, it's verification of where we want to go, and just seeing, like, oh, this isn't working. Well, how should we actually change it? And then whether that feedback comes from players or us, or we simply just try something new and see how that works. And okay, was this better or worse? Okay, if this was better, let's go more in this direction. So I think that. Just compared to how early we are in the development process, it's quite a lot of the feedback is getting in. But like I said, you know, we have our own direction, and a lot of the times this is also about validating where we're going, and that's the nice part. Then there's nobody screaming.
Now, I've been playing in the closed alpha a little bit, and I noticed that just from playing for example, playing the Loyalist versus the Chaos, I'm noticing very different play styles in a sense. I know they're both supposed to be very mirrored to one another, but in the same sense, supposed to have their own feel to it. Do you have a design in mind or some direction that you want to go with the other races and characters that you're going to be putting in the game? Or are they all going to have like a mirror to something similar to the Space Marines? So how Space Marines kind of
I'd say just in general, and Brent should delve deeper. I'm Nathan, by the way. Is that the difference in flavor between Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines right now, for example, is very little compared to what you will see in the final game. And the same with the other factions. I mean, I think the Eldar is going to be by far the most different. It has more classes, but still at the same time the classes are more similar to each other. But generally right now they have very little flavor compared to what they will have. I mean, even the sub-factions between in each faction will have a lot of flavor.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like right now we aren't emphasizing the loadouts and progression systems, and your ability to tune in different directions will be one of the big defining features from Space Marines versus Chaos. Like, in addition to the classes like the Sorcerer that are very, very different from the Apothecary. And then when it comes to the Orcs and the Orcs, just like on the tabletop, do have some like mappable classes, but in general we want to tune the Orcs towards being more of a close range army. Which is, you know, appropriate for them. We want to give them a big, cool WOG features because we're not gonna represent the Orcs well if you don't have like the green tide of guys sprinting towards you that you want to try to pick them all off before they reach you or you're in trouble. And then the Eldar, being such a specialist army, like each class is much more narrowly defined, even though there are more of them. But our vision for them is very much like what you expect to see from their strategies on the tabletop, even, which is that they are a close range and long range army with, but they're weaker in the middle compared to the Space Marines, for example. And so we're going to try to use the specialty classes and their vehicles in order to represent that.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not just that we have customized loadouts where you have weapons that have different point cost, different abilities, different uses. We also have just general character progression, and then we also have what you unlock over time is the individual. Well, we call them generally elites and heroes, or which will be represented. For example, as a Space Marine, you can spawn as a veteran, right?
Oh, okay.
But I mean, these are the ability to play them that you unlock, and you get some extra benefits. But of course, you have to like play a lot to be able to use them. Yeah, and you also have to use in-game currency. To actually use them in the game, because you cannot always spawn as those guys. So if you take all these three things into consideration, is that you have a faction with a very strong different approach than the other factions. Then you have the sub-factions, which has a certain unique flavor to them. They're going to be different. I mean, Space Wolves are going to be quite different. But I mean, the difference between an Imperial Fist and an Ultramarine isn't going to be that huge, right? Yeah. Then you add personalized loadouts, and you add the ability to spawn sometimes as hero and save the day. I mean, it's pretty deep compared to a shooter. But then again, of course, I mean, I think a lot of the massive online shooters are really going in the direction of having deeper characters. Yeah. So I mean, that's where we're going, and we also think that really fits with the universe. That, I mean, when you get a codex, there are so many heroes, and there are many classes. They can fit out so many different loadouts, and that's kind of like Brent was saying. We take the universe and the lore, and we take it down to actually this version of a game, rather versus the tabletop.
Okay. So just two questions left. One is kind of a gimme, but the next question I have is basically for both of you, individually. What is your favorite, like, chapter, race, character in the lore tabletop, and then also in the game?
Well, I'm easy. Girls, take notice. I'm pretty easy. I've always been very much a declared Blood Angel, and I am in both cases very much a declared Blood Angel. That being said, I have my darker sides.
Chaos and Orcs. My tabletop armies are Chaos Space Marines, Chaos Demons, and Orcs. So, like, I love those guys.
But you did look at a Tau model the other day, though.
I did. I used to not like the Tau. With, like, the new set, though, like, the way they've sort of, like, made them a bit more dirtied up and, like, mechanical instead of that really clean anime aesthetic, like, I love the new Tau. Like, the new Pathfinders, they're sweet.
Take notice, dirtied up. No. Sorry, I'm the person that does the the bad jokes on Twitch and stuff. I'm comical relief, as they call it, and a pretty face.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm Nathan.
Last question here, guys, is basically when can we expect to see Return of Crusade hit the shelves?
Well, it's going to be before 2017.
Well, that's good.
Yes. Considerably before 2017 even. I mean, what's going to be interesting is, of course, that the founders group that we have right now, they'll be in there till we launch.
Yep.
At a certain point in time, of course, we go over to a more traditional model of pre-orders and stuff like that. There won't be as many betas on consoles, simply because that is not possible for us. But you'll be able to play on PC up until launch, and our goal is most certainly to come out next year with a solid release, and then of course we have free expansions after that every 3 months, and there's an associated DLC, which is just a bundle of really cool stuff that you really want, and it's at a great price, and you don't need it actually. It's like the maps and everything are all free, because we believe that in a massive online game where you're supposed to be playing with your friends, having you pay to not play with your friends is kind of a silly idea, right? So I mean, we have a lot of free content coming. Well, even between the 3-month expansions, we were updating quite frequently. It's living, breathing universe. I mean, what do we have planned for the first expansion?
Terminators and equivalents.
Yes. Equivalents.
Yeah. Cool. Wraith Guard, Mega Armor, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like, we can't use that as the subtitle, can we?
What?
Terminators and equivalents.
Yeah, that'd be
it's like, but yeah, I think that people will be surprised how fast we're moving and when we launch.
All right, perfect. I'm going to steal that back now.
Yes, there you go.
So, guys, if you are interested in keeping up on the Eternal Crusade and all their fun stuff like that, check out their Twitch feed. It's on Fridays at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
All right, you can see all their pretty faces and watch them kill each other.
Yeah. That's when you can get your Kill a Dev achievement, too.
There you go.
Yeah.
I need that.
Yeah,
I mean, can I have that?
Yeah, of course you can.
230 and kill them.
Yeah, that's the thing is that,
It's not hard.
We usually have a couple of segments that are regular on the Twitch. One is like Meet a Dev, which is meeting some of us and what we're doing. The second is like a production update where we show, like on a local,
gonna give you this back, yeah.
on a local server where we actually what we did in the last week. But a large part of the segment is actually joining the alpha servers, and a lot of the devs here do too, and get shot at, and you can shoot them and get the achievements of getting a dev during the Twitch.
Alrighty. And of course, guys, if you do want to jump in on that, go ahead and check out eternalcrusade.com and check out their founder store, because that way you can get access to the alpha and get in there and try and kill a dev.
Yes.
Also, Vault members, click the link below. You'll get access to some sort of a special video. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to do here. I'm walking a thin line. If you're not already a Vault member,
Well, we'll give you stuff.
okay. Yes, I'm getting stuff. I'll take that. Remember, guys, if you're not already a Vault member, go ahead and click that link anyway. It'll give you access to a 7-day free trial where you get to see the special who knows what video that I'm going to get while I'm here. I don't know. You also get access to all the other awesome stuff we have, like painted tutorials, behind the scenes, open vaults, and extra battle reports. Until next time, guys, happy wargaming.
Bye.
Hey there, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that interview. I want to give a big thanks to Behaviour Interactive for having me. I had an absolute blast while I was there. It was super cool to check out all the things you guys are doing with Eternal Crusade. I also want to give a big thanks to Katie, Nathan, and Brent for helping me out with this interview and also showing me pretty much your studio. It was really, really cool to see all the things you guys are doing with this game. It was also really cool to just meet everybody there. You guys are absolutely awesome and you rock. I just want to make sure you guys know that. Now for the fun part here. We're going to be running a contest because we actually have a code to give you a free captain's pack. What that'll do is actually give you access to their alpha. That's the closed alpha, so you'll get to actually test out this game. It also gives you 150 rogue trader points that you can use in their store to purchase all kinds of awesome upgrades like power fist, relic bolters, all kinds of awesome things for your Eldar, for your orcs, for your chaos, for your space marines. The way you can get this code: go to MiniWarGaming on Facebook, hit the subscribe button, and you'll see a comment there for Eternal Crusade. In 8 words or less, let us know why you think you should have that code. Until then, guys, happy wargaming.